Our first newsreel is from BBC News by Yasmin Rufo, dated the 9th of August 2024. Hugh Edwards has been asked by the BBC to hand back more than £200,000 salary he earned after being arrested in November on child abuse image charges. The ex-presenter behaved in bad faith in continuing to take his salary despite knowing what he had done, said BBC Chair Samir Shah in a letter to staff. Edwards, formerly the BBC's most high-profile newsreader, continued to earn his salary for 5 months after he was arrested on 3 counts of making indecent images of children. He was suspended in July last year and arrested 4 months later. He did not resign from the BBC until April. Mr. Shah said Edwards had been living a double life as someone who, on the face of it, was a much admired broadcaster, but who had betrayed the trust of staff and our audiences. He said the broadcaster was the villain of the piece and the victims are those children for whose degradation he provided a market for. Edwards pleaded guilty in July to 3 counts of making indecent images of children. The offenses are alleged to have taken place between 2020 and 2022 and relates to 37 images that were shared on a WhatsApp chat, according to the Metropolitan Police. The BBC has not confirmed whether legal proceedings will be undertaken if Edwards refuses to pay back his salary. Director General Tim Davie confirmed in an interview last week that the corporation knew the presenter had been arrested over the most serious category of indecent images of children in November. It is understood that when Edwards was arrested, the BBC sought to establish if he had admitted having images of this nature. The BBC apparently did query this, but was unable to establish that fact. In a statement, the BBC board said it supports the decision taken by the Director General and his team during this period. It added that had Edwards been upfront when asked by the BBC about his arrest, we would never have continued to pay him public money. He has clearly undermined the trust in the BBC and brought us into disrepute. The statement also said the board had agreed to look at lessons from this period, including the BBC's approach to the rules surrounding payments when employees are suspended. It noted that while the nature of the charges relate to his own personal life, the board believes these events have also put a spotlight on the question of power imbalances in the workplace. Between April 2023 and April 2024, Edwards received a salary between £475,000 to £479,999, an increase of £40,000 on the previous year. The BBC's production arm, BBC Studios, also paid Edwards for covering royal and state events. This amount of money is not revealed publicly. Last week, the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, said Edwards should return the $200,000 to the BBC. The BBC has also announced a new independent review into workplace culture. The review will include work already being undertaken within the BBC, as well as working with the rest of the industry as appropriate. More information, including the leadership of the review, will be announced in early September. The Culture Secretary welcomed the review and said public trust in the BBC is essential. BBC staff must be able to feel safe in the workplace and be confident that if non-editorial complaints are raised, they will be acted upon and dealt with fairly and decisively. Ms. Nandy added that she had spoken to the BBC chair in the past week to convey these points in the interests of the public. The BBC has contacted Hugh Edwards' lawyer for comment. What do you think about this newsreel? Was it right for the BBC to recall back the $200,000 paid to Mr. Edwards, or did they leave it too late? Should actions have been taken earlier? Kindly leave your comments and views as relates to this newsreel via email address risingaboveshadowsofabuse@gmail.com. Thank you.